crossing the bridge to reality. And today is walk and talk. It's walk and talk number 13. And today we're going to talk about mental illness or spiritual possession. But before we move on to the topic, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to Mr. K. You know who you are, for your donation on Buy Me a Coffee. And you said yeah, that the links are not working on YouTube. That's because I'm not verified. So unless I verify myself on YouTube, my links, the links that I put in the description, are not going to be able to be clicked. They have to be copy and pasted. That's just PooTube for you. But you can find me on Rumble and BitChute, a SINE project, same channel name, and in the near future I will get all of my videos uploaded onto Odyssey as well. So thanks for pointing that out, Mr. K, and thanks for the donation. It'll help Bruce and I a lot. Parichis, if you don't know what parichis are, that are up on Buy Me a Coffee, they're natural ice lollies made here. So I should be able to get a few of those bad boys. Alright. Oh, and by the way, I'm never going to verify myself on YouTube or any other platform because I don't want to be verified. So, the topic today is today's walk and talk number 13. And today, as I said, the title of this video will be mental illness or spiritual possession. Or it could be the other way around, spiritual possession or mental illness. So you've got a lot of people that are suffering with, it's not mental problems, because the mind and the spirit are both the same thing. So it's a spiritual problem that people are suffering with, and that's why the drugs that are given to people that are apparently suffering mental illness are not working. I mean, you notice the drugs in mental hospitals that are given to patients. Well, they never cure the patient. The patient either is stuck on those medications for life, or they're just stuck on them for life. That makes a customer for the big pharma companies, but they're never cured, are they? And there's a lot of similarities between what they call schizophrenia, the term they call the illness they call schizophrenia, bipolar, multiple personality disorders. There's a lot of similarities with those so-called mental health issues and spiritual possession. A lot of people, I've known personal cases. Personally, I've had experience and known people. I knew a young man. He was bright young man. I know a handsome young man. I think he was 15 at the time, and he took LSD, and he wasn't spiritually capable of taking that synthetic psychedelic. And what happens is, he's on an LSD trip, and his own spirit is distracted by the magic show being shown to him, and that opens up and puts his defences down and allows another spirit to enter. And within months, that young man was completely changed. His whole, even physical body, physical appearance, completely changed. And he wasn't him anymore. It was seemingly someone else. That's a case of spiritual possession. I've known another case as well of a personal experience of somebody I knew who was most certainly spiritually possessed in their actions and their behaviours, and the only help for these people is an exorcism, and there's not many exorcists around today. In fact, there haven't been many exorcists around for a while, and all the while those spiritually possessed people are locked up in mental institutions. The medicines they're being given are doing nothing more than chemically lobotomizing them. But I mean, we've all had a taste of chemical lobotomy, because the food in the supermarkets that they give us is tainted with chemicals. The jabberoonies that have been given us have been tainted with chemicals and mind-altering substances and chemicals. Just as Bertrand Russell said in his book, Impact of Science on Society. They will use diet, injections and injunctions to forge the kind of character that they deem acceptable for their new world. So everybody's been chemically lobotomized to an extent, some less than others, and some, for some reason, I don't know this reason, some people, the effects of the chemical lobotomy has not been so successful. They have a higher tolerance or fight against whatever it is they're pushing, whatever's being pushed on them. I would say I'm one of those people. I've been inoculated numerous times in the past, and I think I've got rid of the most of those chemicals from my body from using one method or another. So most of the people in mental hospitals are not even mentally ill. They are spiritually possessed. And a person that is spiritually possessed can fight, will have sort of episodes, and that's where they're fighting with the spirit that's inside them. You see, there's spirits all around us, everywhere, that are stuck, some in the process of being recycled. And so them spirits are just looking for a body. That's why conjuring spirits, etc., is a baby magic trick. It's baby magic, it's pathetic magic, because it's so easy to do. Because there's so many bodiless spirits. Some people are possessed by more malevolent spirits, and once they've been taken over by a malevolent spirit, you find that they get ultra hooked on any sensual and sense on all of the uses of their senses. So like they get very hypersexual, or they like to take lots and lots of different drugs, or they eat a lot of bad foods, because that malevolent spirit, or that weak spirit, can't help itself and wants to indulge while it's in a physical form. Another thing that opens up that gate to spiritual possession is children or young people that play around with spiritual conjurations or Ouija boards and stuff like that. Again, those spirits are just waiting, and once the defense and the guard is down, the person's own spirit is looking at the magic show before them. Negative spirit enters, and that person's never the same. I've never known a case of a person to get rid of an alien spirit once they've been possessed. I've seen people fight. 1 minute, for example, you've got the person how they used to be. You know, you could call it bipolar or schizophrenia. They've got the person who they used to be is coming through, all beautiful and nice, a good person, and then all of a sudden they're doing something completely opposite, like totally disgraceful and not of that person's character at all. And that's where they're having the battle internally, mentally, spiritually. So I would say that most people in mental institutions, mental hospitals, are spiritually possessed. I'd also say that the chemical lobotomy that's been occurring on humanity over for at least 70 years, probably more. But in the last 25 years, it's been ramped up excessively. I would say that the chemical lobotomy has been pretty successful. You've got men and women who don't know if they're men or women anymore. That's a big sign, isn't it? That's a mental problem. And what is the mind? The mind and the spirit are the same thing. It's a spiritual problem. There's no drugs that can help spiritual possession. Only exorcists. Only an exorcism of that alien spirit on the person can work. And the practice of exorcism has to be done professionally. Attention to detail and precaution in that practice is absolutely necessary in order for an exorcism to be fruitful, successful. And there's no one out there that'll tell, well, there's no one out there, there's no doctors out there. You've got psychologists and psychiatrists, again, the left and the right side of the brain. The psychiatrist is the male side of the brain, and the psychologist is more the female side of the brain, the right side of the brain, the right side of the spirit. The psychiatrist is the left side, the masculine, the physical, that take the drugs. The drugs that they give people in mental institutions are really, really, really bad. And usually the side effects from those drugs bring out other problems. Instead of, it might calm down the episodes that a spiritually possessed person's going through. It might calm down the episodes, but then they're going to end up getting tumours, or they're going to end up getting some other really bad side effect from taking the drugs that they're fed. And of course it's chemically lobotomizing their brain. That's what it is. The whole institution's sick inside and out. All institutions in the modern world are sick inside and out because it's all driven on greed. So spiritual possession has been a massive earner. It's made a lot of money for the drug industry. Isn't it funny how psychiatrists and psychologists, they just can't figure it out why people have these problems. Just can't figure it out. It's like all the all the people in the West that are going sterile. I think it's something like 75% of males in America are sterile. I love these birds, eh? Did you hear it? Respond. Oh, you gotta love it when they respond, eh? I love it when they respond. It warms my heart. Oh, Mooski. What's going on, Mooski Moo? Oh, we're so... You're looking chubby today, Bruce. Did you have a good feed yesterday, Bruce? So, where were we? Yeah. Spiritual possession or mental illness? What do you think? What do you think? Thing is, with me, I don't think anything. I don't think, have faith or believe in anything. I either know something or I don't know it. And I know for a fact that most people that are diagnosed with a mental illness is suffering spiritual possession or a chemical lobotomy. They've been chemically lobotomized. I was saying, yeah, you know, most of the Western Hemisphere are sterile. And nobody knows why. And nobody's making a scene about it, you know. Nobody's kicking off about it. Do you know, like the World Health Organization is not jumping in on, oh my goodness, why is everyone going sterile quickly? This is a problem, a sterile pandemic out of proportion, which it is. But the WHO aren't doing nothing about it, are they? Nobody's doing anything about it, are they? Do you know why? Because it was done to you on purpose. That's why. And they want the populations dropped. Because the things we're up against are anti-human, obviously. Well, they're anti-everything. They're anti-life. That's why carbon's such a big deal. They must really hate plants. You know, trying to get rid of the plant food. When it comes to carbon, you're the carbon they want to get rid of. I mean, if it's not obvious and clear to you now, it will never be. You'll never get it. Back to the subject in hand. What more can we talk about? What more is there to say? Some people are perfectly, known as perfect possession. A spiritual entity enters them and they're quite happy with it entering them. And they live with that. And having that spiritual entity in them can give them certain elevated senses. And gifts that are, you would deem as supernatural. Examples of perfectly possessed are some of the high-ranking leaders that we've had in societies over the years. You know, they've got families and they seem like they're all normal on the outside, but they're not. They're not normal on the inside. They're perfectly possessed. I think it was, what was his name? What was that father's name who wrote He wrote Hostage to the Devil. What was his name? I forget his name. What was it? I forget his name. Anyway, the author of Hostage to the Devil, if you type that in on Google, you'll find his name. And there's some interesting interviews of him on online that you can listen to. And they're very interesting interviews. And he talks about possession of people. So somebody gets spiritually possessed. They then go into a mental institution. They get told that they've got this mental health issue or that mental health issue, and then they're chemically lobotomized. Beautiful system, isn't it? And you know, the only reason really I know that I know how bad the system is and etc. is I look at it through the eyes of the sorcerers, and I look at it the world of, if I was in their shoes, how would I have done it? I would have done things a little bit better. But I'm not that way inclined. I could never be that way inclined because I'm not anti-life. I love everything that has been made by the artist, the great artist, the artist that created all of this. And there's not a man on this planet or a human alive who has created any of this. Yeah, they've copied it, but they haven't created it. Now, what about animals? I wonder if animals... I imagine animals can be spiritually possessed as well. I think that's it for this video. I think I've covered really I've said what I really wanted to say. Mental health, mental illness is not mental illness as you've been told. Remember, the mind and the spirit are the same thing, so it's not instantly, you know, it's not a mental issue, it's a spiritual issue. Any problems with the mind is the spirit, so it's a spiritual issue. And most of those people suffering with multiple personality disorders, bipolar and schizophrenia in their mental institutions are actually suffering from spiritual possession. And there's no help for those people unless they're exorcised by somebody capable of doing so. They say that the only priest that can exorcise a spirit from a person is a Catholic priest or a Zoroastrian priest or magi. So Malachi Martin, I think his name was, the author of that book, Malachi Martin. Yeah, should look him up, interesting guy. Very interesting guy. So that'll be all for this video. Here's my beauties, they've heard me coming. You've probably heard them as I'm walking. They've heard me coming again. Let's give them a shout out before we go, shall we? Woo! 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 Say bye, birds. Be blessed. Be kind. Say bye bye. Oh, Rooski. Hello, Rooski Roo.